Man and his combat robots search a machine graveyard and find a spaceship pulsing with a mysterious message. Kieran wiped the sweat from his brow as he stepped over a pile of broken robot limbs. The desert winds of Zyra. 7 howled like ghosts through the rusted ruins of ancient machines. This place had once been a battlefield, a graveyard of metal and circuits, but now it was quiet, almost too quiet. Beside him, R7, his combat robot, scanned the horizon. Its glowing eyes swept over the twisted heaps of machinery, analyzing each shadow and movement. Kieran trusted R7 more than anyone else in the galaxy. The robot could fight, protect, and even reason in ways most humans could not imagine.
"Careful, R7," Kieran said, stepping lightly over a crushed drone.
This place isn't empty. Some of these machines, they still remember how to kill. R7's arm extended, revealing a small plasma blade. Understood, Kieran. Threats detected, 0. Environmental analysis, hazardous but manageable. Kieran grinned. You always make it sound so calm. The graveyard stretched for miles, metal skeletons half buried in sand. Towers of broken mechs jutted into the sky like jagged teeth. The remains of alien war machines lay beside Earth-made combat drones. Some were mangled beyond recognition, while others still had dim lights blinking, like eyes trying to stay awake. They moved carefully, stepping over wires and broken limbs. Kieran used his scanner to detect any active machinery, while R7 moved slightly ahead, ready to strike. The wind carried a metallic scent, mixed with something older. Rust, smoke, decay. Hours passed. They found a few salvageable pieces, energy cells, microchips, and a small but powerful fusion core that could power R7 for days. Kieran stuffed it into his pack, excitement lighting up his tired face. This was why he came to Zyra. 7. In the machine graveyard, treasure wasn't gold. It was technology, and with the right technology, humans could survive anywhere. Suddenly, R7 stopped. Its sensors flickered. Kieran. Signal detected. Low frequency. Source. Buried beneath the scrap. Unknown origin. Pulse rate. Unusual. Kieran frowned. Pulse? What kind of pulse? It repeats every 3 seconds. Not natural. Not any machine signature I recognize. Curiosity ignited in Kieran's chest. Most scavengers ignored odd signals. They were either too dangerous or too mysterious. But Kieran loved the unknown, and R7's sensors had never been wrong. Lead the way, R7, Kieran said, adjusting his goggles. They navigated through more heaps of twisted metal, finding the source buried under a massive pile of broken mechs. Kieran could see the faint glow of light through the rusted edges. It pulsed slowly, almost like it had a heartbeat. Whatever this is, it's big, Kieran muttered. Object size, massive, massive. Likely non-human origin. Structural integrity, compromised but recoverable.
Kieran's heart raced. Recoverable, huh?
That's my kind of word. He pulled out his tools. A plasma cutter, a small fusion-powered crane, and magnetic clamps. He set to work, slicing through metal, careful not to damage whatever lay beneath. Sparks flew. The wind howled. But the pulse grew stronger, vibrating through the soles of Kieran's boots. This thing, it's alive, Kieran whispered.
R7's eyes glowed brighter. Incorrect.
But energy signature is unique, possibly sentient. Warning, approach with caution. After hours of work, they cleared the last layers of scrap. Kieran stepped back, wiping sweat from his face. Before him was a spaceship unlike anything he had ever seen. Its hull was sleek and metallic, yet it seemed organic, as if the metal itself was breathing. The pulse came from deep inside, glowing faintly through cracks in the hull. Kieran's hands shook. 7. Look at this. It's beautiful. Ravel 7 scanned the ship. Analysis, alien design. Unknown technology. Internal life support, offline. Structural integrity, 67%. Recommendation, extreme caution. Iron smiled. Since when do we follow recommendations blindly? As he circled the ship, he noticed strange markings along its side, symbols that shifted slightly as he stared, as if the ship itself was aware of him. He reached out a hand, brushing against the hull. A wave of warmth pulsed through him, and the light inside brightened for a moment. "It's trying to communicate," Kieran said. R7 tilted its head. "Impossible. Machines do not pulse like this." Analysis inconclusive. Hypothesis: unknown sentient interface. Kieran's mind raced. If this ship was alive, or even semi-sentient, it could change everything humans knew about technology and space travel. And the pulse, it was deliberate, almost like it wanted them to find it. "Let's get a closer look," Kieran said. "There might be a hatch or access point." R7 moved to the front of the ship. Using its strength, it lifted a partially crushed panel, revealing a small entry hatch. Kieran's heart pounded as he peered inside. The interior glowed with soft blue light, revealing alien machinery, cables like veins, and screens with shifting symbols. "This is incredible," Kieran breathed. Suddenly the pulse quickened. The walls vibrated faintly under his fingertips. Kieran instinctively stepped back. "R7, did you feel that?" "Yes. Energy signature is increasing. Possible self-defense mechanism. Recommendation: retreat?" "No." "Continue?" "High risk." Kieran laughed nervously. "Of course we continue. This is what we came for." He pulled out his portable interface scanner, trying to link with the ship's systems. The device beeped and whirred, but initially, nothing happened. Then, the pulse aligned with the scanner, sending a sequence of lights and vibrations. Symbols flashed briefly on the scanner screen. Kieran tried to decipher them. "They're coordinates?" he murmured.
Or a message, yes, a message. The scanner buzzed violently.
Sparks flew and a faint holographic projection appeared above it. Kieran's jaw dropped. It was a star map, flashing systems and strange symbols that seemed alive. "R7, we've never seen anything like this," he said. RS7's sensors flared. "Caution, unknown information. Risk, extreme. Recommendation, proceed with analysis only." Kieran ignored the warning. He was too fascinated. This could be the biggest discovery in human history. He examined the projection, noticing that one of the star systems pulsed in sync with the ship's heartbeat. It seemed to be calling them somewhere. Hours passed. Kieran and R7 worked tirelessly, documenting everything. Kieran salvaged what he could from the ship's exterior, some alien tools and energy cores, but he knew the real treasure was inside, waiting to reveal its secrets. As night fell over the machine graveyard, the wind howled louder, carrying with it a sense of ancient presence. Shadows of ruined machines stretched like fingers, reaching for the glowing ship. But Kieran and R7 were undeterred. "This is just the beginning," Kieran said, staring at the pulsing spaceship. "Whatever's inside, it's waiting for us." The ship's pulse slowed slightly, almost as if it were breathing calmly now, acknowledging their presence. Kieran smiled. The adventure was only beginning. And somewhere deep inside the buried spaceship, a mysterious message continued to pulse, waiting to be fully understood. The glow from the spaceship pulsed steadily in the dark of Zyra. 7, lighting up the twisted metal of the machine graveyard. Kieran crouched near the hatch, his fingers hovering over the interface scanner. R7 stood beside him, glowing eyes scanning every shadow, every scrap of metal, as if expecting trouble to spring from the ground itself. Kieran adjusted his goggles and whispered, "All right, R7. Let's see what secrets you're hiding." The scanner hummed as it tried to connect with the ship. Sparks flickered, and the blue light inside the hatch danced like it had a life of its own. Then, as if responding to Kieran's touch, the ship shuddered slightly.
A low hum vibrated through the ground beneath their feet. Seven's head tilted.
Unexpected response. Energy signature is increasing. Ship is powering up. Kieran's pulse quickened. Powering up like it wants us inside. Taking a deep breath, Kieran stepped through the hatch. The interior was like nothing he had ever seen. The walls were smooth, metallic, but pulsed faintly, almost like veins. Light rippled across the floor, illuminating corridors that seemed longer than they should be. Screens flickered with symbols, star charts, and strange glowing lines that shifted continuously. R7 followed closely, its combat sensors active. Structural integrity stable. No immediate threats detected internally. Kieran's eyes widened. No immediate threats, but this place feels alive. They moved deeper into the ship, following the pulse. Kieran noticed the light in the corridor seemed to react to his movements, brightening as he approached and dimming when he stepped back. It was as if the ship itself were watching them, studying them. At the heart of the ship, they found a room filled with floating holographic panels. Kieran's scanner beeped furiously as it tried to make sense of the data. Suddenly, one panel projected a large holographic map of distant star systems. Pulses of light moved along certain paths, almost like lines connecting worlds. "It's communicating," Kieran said, eyes wide. "These pulses, they're patterns. A message of some kind." Rye-7's sensors focused on the room. "Message not understandable by standard protocol. Suggest analyzing the pattern. Hypothesis: ship may be semi-sentient. Caution advised." Iron crouched beside one of the floating panels and began tracing the pulsing lines. "Look at this, R7. These lights, they match the pulse outside. It's almost like it's calling us somewhere." The ship's hum grew louder, vibrating through the floor, walls, and even the air. Kieran felt a strange warmth in his chest, as if the ship were trying to communicate directly with him. His hand hovered over the holographic map, and suddenly, the light shifted to form a series of symbols he could almost read. "They're coordinates," Kieran said, astonished. "Or a warning." "I can't tell yet." RA7 sensors flared. "Unknown risk detected. Recommendation: proceed with caution. Possible defensive systems active." Kieran grinned. "Caution is my middle name." He moved further into the room, examining more panels. Each one revealed new secrets: alien star systems, maps of planets he had never heard of, and energy signatures that pulsed like living hearts. The ship seemed to be telling a story of war, loss, and survival. Then, without warning, the floor beneath them shook. Sparks flew from the walls as hidden mechanisms activated. R7 immediately assumed a defensive stance, plasma blade humming. "Hostile activity!" Kieran shouted over the hum. "Now." "Defensive mechanisms triggered by unauthorized presence," R7 replied. "Engage only if necessary." From the shadows, small drones emerged, their designs alien and sharp. They hovered in the air, glowing faintly, scanning Kieran and Rain 7. Kieran quickly realized they weren't attacking. Yet, they were testing them, evaluating their intent. "Looks like the ship doesn't trust us yet," Kieran said. Ravabat 7's blade extended. "Prepared for combat if needed." Kieran studied the drones. "Maybe we don't need to fight. Maybe we just need to show it we mean no harm." The drones hesitated, then retreated back into the walls, disappearing as quickly as they appeared.
"The ship! It's alive!" Kieran whispered.
"Not like us, but it knows." As the room settled, the pulsing grew stronger. One particular panel glowed brighter than the rest, and a faint holographic figure appeared. It was abstract, almost humanoid, but made entirely of light and shifting symbols. Kieran's breath caught. "It's trying to speak," he said, staring in awe. The figure projected images of a battle long ago, showing alien ships being destroyed by some massive force. The images flashed quickly, stars exploding, ships torn apart, and a mysterious energy wave sweeping across planets. The figure paused on one image, a single star system glowing with a steady pulse, the same pulse the ship had been sending. R7 analyzed the figure. Energy signature matches ship. Hypothesis: this is an encoded warning or history. Unknown civilization destroyed. Possible threat still active. Kieran nodded slowly. So, it wants us to know. It wants us to prevent the same thing from happening again.
Suddenly, alarms blared.
The ship's pulse quickened, and the walls vibrated violently. Panels displayed warning symbols in rapid succession. Curran and R7 ducked as hidden defense drones activated, sleek and dangerous, with plasma weapons extending from their arms. R7 moved to defend Curran. Engaging defense systems. Maintain position, Kieran. Kieran grabbed a nearby energy core and improvised a pulse disruptor aiming at the drones. Sparks flew as shots of energy collided with the alien weapons. The drones advanced relentlessly, but R7 moved with unmatched precision, cutting through their attacks and shielding Kieran. After several tense minutes, the drones retreated. Kieran exhaled, adrenaline pumping. That was too close.
I-7 scanned the room.
Damage sustained, minor. Hostile neutralized. Recommendation continue analysis. Urgency increasing. Kieran turned back to the holographic figure. The images resumed, showing a hidden chamber within the ship, one that appeared to hold the key to the pulse and the mysterious message. He knew they had to get there, despite the risks. This way, R7, he said, moving toward a narrow corridor revealed in the hologram. The pulse guided them, lighting the path like a beacon. As they walked, Kieran realized something astonishing. The ship's interior seemed to reconfigure itself. Walls shifted subtly, corridors extended, and the light seemed to respond to their presence. "It's alive," Kieran repeated. "Not just machines. It thinks." R7 sensors flared. Caution advised. Intelligence confirmed. Unknown motives. Probability of further defense mechanisms high. Hours passed as they navigated the corridors, following the pulse. Kieran studied every panel, every symbol, trying to understand the alien language. The ship seemed impatient, urging them forward. Finally, they reached a large chamber at the center of the ship. It was circular, with a glowing orb suspended in the middle. The pulse emanated directly from it, vibrating through the room and into Kieran's chest. This must be the source of the message," Kieran whispered. He approached cautiously, R7 at his side. The orb projected a holographic map of the galaxy, with one star system highlighted in red. Lines of light connected it to other worlds, forming a web of energy paths. Symbols floated above the map, shifting in a pattern Kieran could almost understand. "It's asking for help," he said slowly. "Or maybe it's warning us. Either way, it wants us to follow it." R7 scanned the orb. Energy readings indicate potential threat. Analysis. Unknown alien force responsible for destruction. Probability significant. Recommendation: proceed with extreme caution.
Kieran nodded. "We'll be careful."
But we can't ignore this. Not now.
Not ever.
He reached out and touched the orb. The pulse surged, filling the room with light.
Symbols flashed rapidly, and then a clear sequence appeared. A set of coordinates, instructions, and a warning. Kieran's mind raced as he tried to memorize everything. "This is it, R7. This is why the ship wanted us here," he said, awe in his voice. "It's giving us the key to something huge, something dangerous." But amazing. The pulse slowed, as if the ship were satisfied. Kieran smiled, heart pounding. "We've just started, and I have a feeling the real adventure begins now." Outside the wind of Zyra, 7 howled across the machine graveyard, but Kieran barely noticed. Inside the alien ship, the pulse continued, steady and alive, guiding them toward a destiny they could not yet imagine. The corridors of the alien ship stretched on endlessly, illuminated by the steady pulse of blue light. Kieran's boots clicked softly against the smooth metallic floor, the sound echoing through the vast space. Rapidly moved beside him, scanning every corner with its glowing eyes. The ship felt alive, every movement purposeful, every sound like it was breathing. Kieran ran his fingers along the walls. "It's amazing," he murmured, "like the ship itself is watching us." learning us. Observation confirmed. Energy signatures indicate advanced intelligence. Probability, semi-sentient life form integrated with ship systems. Kieran grinned. A living ship. I never thought I'd see one. They reached a chamber filled with floating holographic displays. Maps of galaxies, star systems, and strange, unknown planets hovered mid-air. Some panels showed alien ships engaged in battles with enormous energy waves that destroyed entire planets. Curran's eyes widened. This is history, he said. Or a warning. R7 sensors flared. Analysis. Historical data of alien civilizations. Unknown destructive force identified. Current threat status. Unknown but potentially active. Kieran studied the holograms. So these aliens, they fought something. Something big. And maybe it's still out there.
As they moved deeper into the room, another set of lights pulsed in response to their presence.
The ship seemed to guide them to a hidden chamber, one that contained the heart of its intelligence, a spherical core suspended in midair, pulsing with a steady blue light. This must be it, Kieran whispered. The ship's brain. He stepped closer, careful not to touch it. Raven's sensors flared. Warning, unknown defense mechanisms. Probability of activation, high. Kieran raised his hand slowly. The core pulsed stronger, reacting to his touch. Lights spread along the walls, revealing more holographic symbols, alien star systems, and energy paths. Kieran's heart raced. It's communicating, he said. Not just with me, with us. RS-7 scanned the core. Communication protocol, unfamiliar. Potential for a cooperative interaction, high. Probability of defense activation, significant if threatened. Kieran nodded. We'll be careful, but we need answers. He activated his interface scanner. The core responded immediately, sending pulses of energy into the device. Symbols flashed rapidly, forming patterns that Kieran could almost understand. The ship was showing him a path. A mission, perhaps. It's asking us to follow this star system, he said, and warning us about something that destroyed the aliens. R7's sensors flared. Unknown entity. Possible threat. Recommendation. Prepare for defensive measures. Before Kieran could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared, red lights flashing. R7 immediately assumed a combat stance. Hostiles incoming, it shouted. Sensors detect external energy signatures. Kieran's eyes narrowed. What now? From the wall, small drones emerged, sleek and fast, armed with plasma weapons. But these weren't the ship's drones. These were external, rival scavengers who had somehow tracked Kieran to the graveyard. Their leader, a grizzled human with a cybernetic eye, shouted from the doorway. Hand over the ship, Kieran! You're not leaving with it. Kieran's pulse quickened. He knew they couldn't let these scavengers take the ship. Too much was at stake. R7, engage! The robot moved instantly, its plasma blade slicing through the air. Sparks flew as energy beams collided. The scavengers' drones swarmed, but R7 was precise, blocking attacks while protecting Kieran. Kieran grabbed a small energy disruptor from his pack and fired at the drones, sending arcs of blue energy crackling through the room. The scavengers yelped as their machine short-circuited. This ship is mine, Kieran shouted down. And it's alive. The pulse of the ship intensified, glowing brighter than ever. The rival scavengers hesitated, startled by the ship's sudden response. It wasn't just reacting, it was defending itself. Panels along the wall shifted, creating barriers and closing paths, cutting off the intruder's escape. R7's blades hummed as it fought off the remaining drones. Hostiles neutralized, it reported. Ship is actively participating in defense. Kieran wiped sweat from his brow, breathing heavily. It protected us. It trusts us. The rival scavenger leader cursed and retreated, dragging what remained of his drones. This isn't over, Kieran. That ship will be ours eventually. As silence returned, Kieran turned to the ship's core. The pulsing light slowed, as if calming down after the battle. "You okay?" he asked, smiling. The holographic symbols shifted, forming patterns that resembled a nod of acknowledgement. The ship had accepted them. R7 sensors analyzed the room. Defensive protocols active. Threat level decreased. Ship appears cooperative now. Kieran knelt beside the core, studying the symbols. "It's showing us something." A path. Coordinates. "Instructions. We have to follow them." The ship's pulse seemed to respond to his determination, synchronizing with his heartbeat. Kieran felt a connection, as if the ship and he were communicating without words. Suddenly, a new symbol appeared, an alien star system with a red glow. A warning flashed across the holographic display. "Do not approach unprepared. Threat persists." RI-7 scanned the warning. "Unknown force." Previous encounters resulted in planetary destruction. Probability of survival without preparation? Low. Kieran's eyes narrowed. "Then we prepare. We learn. We survive. That's what humans do." Rabbit 7 tilted its head. "Observation: humans display high adaptability. Probability of success with strategy, moderate to high." Kieran smiled. "Exactly. Let's get to work." They spent hours analyzing the ship's data. Kieran recorded everything: star systems, alien civilizations, and the mysterious energy that had destroyed them. He realized that the ship was not just a vessel, but a guardian, a repository of knowledge, and perhaps the last hope of preventing another disaster. As the first light of Zyra, Seven's twin suns touched the graveyard, Kieran and R7 made a decision. They would leave the planet, take the ship, and follow its guidance. But the danger was far from over. The rival scavengers would return, and the ancient threat that destroyed the aliens could still exist, lurking somewhere in the galaxy. Kieran's hand rested on the ship's pulsing core. "We're ready, R7. Whatever's out there, we face it together." R7's eyes glowed brightly. "Affirmative. Mission priority. Protect human operator and ship. Engage unknown challenges as required." With that, Kieran accessed the ship's controls. The engines hummed to life, the pulse of the ship aligning with the vibrations of its systems. The corridors shifted one last time, opening a direct path to the hangar bay. "This is it," Kieran said, stepping forward. "The real journey begins now." The ship responded, pulsing brighter, almost like it was smiling. Kieran and R7 climbed aboard the cockpit. The holographic displays filled the room, showing the path through uncharted space, leading to the star system that held the answers, and perhaps the danger, they were seeking. Outside, the machine graveyard seemed smaller than ever. Kieran glanced back once, remembering the ruins, the heat, and the battles fought. Then he turned forward. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown worlds and unimaginable threats. The ship pulsed, alive and aware, and together, human and robot prepared to face the universe. For Kieran, it wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about discovery, courage, and proving that humans could rise to any challenge. And somewhere deep in space, the pulse of the ship carried a warning, a message, and a promise. The adventure was only beginning. The hangar bay doors of the alien ship slid open with a hiss, revealing the endless expanse of Zyra, Seven's desert wasteland. Kieran adjusted his gloves, his eyes scanning the horizon one last time. The machine graveyard stretched behind them, a monument to wars long past. Broken metal skeletons glinted faintly in the twin suns' light, and the wind carried the faint smell of rust and decay. "This place, it's incredible," Kieran said softly. "And it's all ours to leave behind." R7 sensors scanned the desert. Environmental hazards minimal. External threat presence, none detected. All systems ready for departure. Kieran stepped into the cockpit and ran his hands over the alien controls. The ship hummed beneath his touch, responding to him as if it recognized its new crew. Lights along the walls pulsed in sync with the ship's heartbeat, and the floating holographic maps shimmered. One system glowed brighter than the rest, the destination the ship had been guiding them toward. R7's mechanical voice broke the silence. Flight trajectory requires adjustment. Unknown hazards in path. Multiple. Probability of safe transit without preparation. Moderate. Kieran nodded. We've faced worse. Let's do this. With a low roar, the ship's engines powered up, lifting it slowly from the desert sands. The pulse intensified, resonating through Kieran's chest. It was as if the ship itself were excited, guiding them with confidence and purpose. As they rose above the machine graveyard, the alien ship's hull reflected the sunlight, glowing like a living metal creature. Kieran glanced at R7. You know, buddy, humans aren't the only ones who can survive. Machines like you, we make a pretty good team. Observation, compatibility and efficiency of human-machine cooperation optimal. Affirmation acknowledged. The ship cleared the atmosphere, and stars stretched endlessly before them. Kieran felt a thrill that only came with stepping into the unknown. He had spent years scavenging wrecks, fighting hostile environments, and surviving deadly battles. But now, the galaxy itself was waiting, full of secrets, dangers, and possibilities. The ship pulsed again, directing them toward a distant star system. Its energy felt alive, almost like it knew what was ahead before Kieran could see it. Hours passed as they traveled through empty space. Kieran studied the ship's systems, noting how every control seemed to respond to thought rather than touch. He realized that the alien vessel was more than a ship. It was a companion, a guide, and a protector. R7 monitored the sensors constantly. Incoming signal detected. Long range. Energy signature, unfamiliar. Message content, partial decoding possible. Kieran leaned forward. Show me. A holographic symbol appeared, pulsing in the air. It depicted a planet bathed in red light, with strange energy lines converging on it from multiple directions. Kieran frowned. Looks like a warning or a trap. R7's voice was calm but serious. Unknown threat. Probability of engagement upon arrival high. Recommendation: prepare defensive measures. Kieran smirked. You and I both know we don't back down from danger. Let's keep going. The ship pulsed again, guiding them closer. As they approached the star system, Kieran saw a planet glowing faintly in red light, exactly as the hologram had shown. Strange energy waves radiated from its surface, visible even from orbit. This is it, Kieran said. The ship led us here for a reason. Suddenly, alarms blared. R7 sensors flared. Multiple vessels detected. Unknown origin. Approach velocity. High. Probability of hostile intent extremely high. Kieran's heart raced. Looks like we're not alone. From the darkness of space, sleek alien ships emerged, their hulls shimmering like liquid metal. Their weapons glowed with an eerie light, scanning their surroundings. Kieran's eyes narrowed. He had seen battles before, but this was different. These ships radiated danger and precision. R7, he said. We might have walked into something we can't just fight head-on. R7 extended its plasma blades. Assessment. Tactical advantage possible through coordinated maneuvering and ship defense systems. Probability of survival, moderate. Recommendation: evasive action combined with strategic engagement.
Kieran gritted his teeth.
Let's do it. The alien ships advanced, firing bursts of energy. The pulses hit the ship's shields, sending vibrations through the hull. Kieran felt the living pulse of the vessel beneath him. It wasn't panicked. It was guiding them. He followed the ship's instinct, maneuvering through space with precision he had never thought possible. R7 leapt into action, directing fire at incoming drones and scanning for weaknesses. Weak points identified. Firing sequence optimized. Kieran pulled the triggers, sending beams of alien energy in perfect harmony with R7's attacks. The enemy ships faltered, but more kept coming. The battle raged through the star system, the red planet below casting a blood-like glow across the battlefield. This isn't just about us, Kieran thought. Whatever destroyed the aliens before, it's still out there. And we're in the middle of it. After hours of intense combat, the last of the enemy ships retreated. The ship's pulse slowed, glowing steady once more. Kieran slumped in his seat, breathing heavily. We survived. For now. R7's optics scanned the area. Assessment. Threat temporarily neutralized. Damage sustained. Minor. Probability of further encounters? High. Kieran nodded, wiping sweat from his forehead. We're just getting started, buddy. And the ship, it wants us to go further. We need to find out what's really waiting on that planet. The ship pulsed again, opening a path to the red planet. As they descended, Curran could feel the energy emanating from its surface. It wasn't just a planet, it was alive with some kind of force. Landing was tense. The ship's pulse guided them to a stable zone, avoiding the strange energy streams that crossed the surface like rivers of red light. Kieran stepped out, R7 at his side, scanning for threats. The landscape was alien, jagged, and glowing faintly under the planet's eerie light.
This place, it's beautiful.
And dangerous, Kieran said.
Let's see what secrets you're hiding. They moved carefully across the surface, following the pulse. Alien ruins rose from the ground, some half-buried, some intact, as if the civilization had vanished overnight. Holographic symbols flickered in the air, pulsing with the same rhythm as the ship. This planet, it's connected to the ship, Kieran said, like it's part of its network. R7's sensors flared. Energy readings indicate potential for hostile encounters. Probability of environmental hazards, high. Recommendation, proceed cautiously. As they approached the largest ruin, the pulse intensified. A holographic figure appeared, floating above the alien structure. Its form was majestic, made of light and shifting symbols, just like the ship had projected earlier. It's the same being, Kieran whispered. The one that sent the message through the ship. The figure projected a series of images, alien cities, star systems destroyed by a massive energy wave, and finally, a symbol that glowed red, a warning. Kieran's chest tightened. This is what we're up against, he said. And it's still out there. The ship pulsed, reacting to the warning. Kieran realized then that the pulse wasn't just a guide. It was a call to action. The ship had chosen them, human and robot, to face this threat, to survive, to protect. R7 scanned the figure. Observation. Entity likely responsible for historical destruction. Probability of ongoing threat, high. Human operator response, courageous and strategic.
Kieran nodded. We're ready.
Whatever it takes. The pulse of the ship grew brighter, syncing with the holographic figure. Together they pointed toward the stars beyond the red planet. Kieran understood. The journey wasn't over. The adventure had only begun. As he looked up at the glowing sky, he smiled. R7. Humans may be small, fragile, and limited, but we survive, we adapt, and we rise to any challenge. That's who we are. R7's optics glowed warmly. Affirmative. Observation. Human ingenuity and courage. Extraordinary. Probability of mission success with cooperation. High. Kieran placed his hand on the ship's console. The pulse surged, steady and alive. Then let's go, he said. The universe is waiting, and we're ready to meet it. Above them, the stars stretched endlessly. The red planet pulsed beneath their feet, and in the distance, the unknown threat waited. But Kieran, R7, and the living ship were ready to face it together. The adventure was far from over. It had only just begun.